Alright folks, welcome back to the show. Today we're diving into the mysterious and controversial theories surrounding the death of legendary rapper Eazy-E. This is one of those stories, man, that just makes you wonder, how does a guy, seemingly at the top of his game, go from a clean bill of health to gone in just a few weeks? It's a wild ride and we're gonna break it all down. From conspiracy theories to medical mysteries, let's explore what might have really happened. Strap in folks, because things are about to get weird. So, Eazy-E, right? The godfather of gangsta rap? This dude was a force of nature, built ruthless records from the ground up, and changed the face of hip-hop forever. Then boom, 1995 gone. Officially, it was AIDS-related pneumonia. But the timeline is what gets people talking. Diagnosed with full-blown AIDS just weeks before his death? That's unusual, man. See, back then, AIDS was a much different beast. Took years, sometimes a decade, to progress that quickly. So, the whispers started, was it really AIDS? Or was there something more sinister at play? And that's where the conspiracy theories kick in, man. One of the wildest ones? Eazy got intentionally infected with HIV. I know, sounds crazy, right? But think about it. Eazy was no saint. He was in the streets, made enemies, and the music industry is a cutthroat business, man. Word on the street was that someone, maybe a rival, found a way to get a hold of HIV-tainted blood and injected it into Eazy. Some folks point to acupuncture. Eazy was getting treated for back pain, and there's this whole thing about unsterilized needles. Others talk about tattoos, maybe even a shady massage parlor. Listen, I'm not saying it happened this way, but I'm not ruling it out either. The possibility, man, it makes you think. What's even crazier is that some people close to Eazy, even some of his own family members, have hinted at foul play. They say he wasn't the type to mess around, that he was careful. They just don't buy the official story. And honestly, who can blame them? The whole thing just feels off. Okay, so let's say for a second that the whole injection thing is too out there, right? Even if we push that aside, there's still this whole other layer to this story: medical negligence. Now, I'm not a doctor, but even I know that getting diagnosed with full-blown AIDS out of nowhere is weird. Like, shouldn't there have been signs, symptoms, something? Eazy was rich, man. He could afford the best doctors money could buy. So how did they miss this? Some people say Eazy wasn't taking his health seriously, that he was ignoring symptoms. Maybe he was, I don't know. But even then, shouldn't a doctor be able to catch that? Run some tests? Ask the right questions? There's this whole other side of the medical negligence theory that's even more unsettling. Some folks believe that because of the stigma surrounding AIDS at the time, especially in the black community, Eazy's doctors weren't as thorough as they should have been. Maybe they dismissed his symptoms, didn't want to consider the possibility of AIDS. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's a reality that many marginalized communities faced back then. And then there's the whole misdiagnosis angle. What if Eazy had something else entirely, something treatable, but it got misdiagnosed as AIDS? It sounds crazy, but it happens, man. Doctors are human, they make mistakes. And when you're dealing with a complex disease like AIDS, mistakes can be deadly. This whole medical negligence thing, it just adds another layer of mystery to Eazy's death. It makes you wonder, what if he'd gotten a different doctor? What if the stigma surrounding AIDS wasn't so strong? Could things have been different? Chapter 3. Straight Outta Compton, and into the Fire Suge Knight's alleged role. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the guy whose name seems to pop up in every hip-hop conspiracy theory, Suge Knight. Now, Suge was a force to be reckoned with, built Death Row Records into an empire, but he was also notorious for his ruthless business tactics and his connections to the streets. Let's just say the man wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. And here's where things get interesting. See, before Eazy died, there was some serious bad blood between him and Suge. We're talking lawsuits, diss tracks, rumors of threats and intimidation. It was messy, man. Some people believe that Suge, either directly or through his associates, had something to do with Eazy's death. Now, the most common theory is that Suge somehow orchestrated the whole HIV injection thing. Maybe he paid someone off. Maybe he used his connections to make it happen. Again, I'm not saying it's true, but it's a theory that persists to this day. There's another theory, a little less out there, that suggests Suge threatened Eazy's life, stressed him out so badly that it weakened his immune system, making him more susceptible to illness. We know stress can do crazy things to the body, and Eazy was under a lot of it at the time. Now Suge has denied any involvement in Eazy's death, and he's never been charged with anything related to it. But the rumors persist, man. And you know what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Chapter 4. Did the feds want Eazy silenced? Unpacking the government conspiracy? Okay, so we've covered the injected HIV theory, the medical negligence angle, and the Suge Knight connection. Now let's get really conspiratorial, shall we? Some people believe that the government, yes, the US government, played a role in Eazy-E's death. I know, sounds like something out of a movie, right? But hear me out. Eazy-E and NWA in general were not afraid to speak truth to power. Their music was raw, it was angry, it challenged the establishment. Songs like Fuck the Police made them targets. They were seen as a threat, a voice of dissent that needed to be silenced. And how do you silence a voice as powerful as Eazy-E's? Well, some people believe the government found a way. Now, there are a couple of versions of this theory. One suggests that the government somehow infected Eazy with HIV as part of a secret program. Another theory claims that the government didn't necessarily infect Eazy, but that they knew about his condition and let him die. Maybe they even hindered his medical treatment to make sure he didn't survive. Is it far-fetched? Absolutely, but think about it. The government has a long and shady history of conducting secret experiments on its own citizens, especially marginalized communities. COINTELPRO, the Tuskegee syphilis study MKUltra, these are just a few examples of the government's willingness to cross the line in the name of national security. So, is it so crazy to think that they might have targeted a rapper who was seen as a threat to the social order? I don't know, man. The more you dig into this stuff, the more you realize that truth can be stranger than fiction. Chapter 5. The simplest answer, was Eazy-E's death just a tragedy? Alright, so we've gone down some pretty deep rabbit holes, explored some wild theories. But sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. What if Eazy-E's death wasn't a result of some grand conspiracy, medical malpractice, or government hit? What if it was just tragic? Look, AIDS was a very different beast back in the 90s. There wasn't the same awareness, the same testing, the same treatments we have today. It's entirely possible that Eazy contracted HIV years earlier and simply didn't know it. He might have been asymptomatic for a long time, and by the time he started showing symptoms, it was already too late. We know Eazy lived a certain lifestyle. He was open about his promiscuity, and in the 80s and early 90s, protection wasn't always a given. It's a harsh reality, but it's a reality nonetheless. And let's not forget, even with the best medical care, AIDS was often a death sentence back then. The treatments were harsh, the side effects were brutal, and the virus was relentless. Maybe, just maybe, Eazy's death was a tragic reminder of the devastating impact of a disease that was ravaging the world. It's not as sensational as a conspiracy theory, but sometimes the truth is much simpler and much sadder than we'd like to believe. Outro remembering Eazy-E legacy and unanswered questions. So, there you have it, folks. The theories, the speculation, the mystery surrounding Eazy-E's death. It's a story that continues to fascinate and divide people to this day. What do you think really happened to Eazy-E? Let us know in the comments below. Was it a conspiracy, a case of negligence, or a tragic reminder of a health crisis that gripped the world? We may never know for sure, but one thing's for certain. Eazy-E's legacy as a music icon, a cultural innovator, and a voice for the voiceless will live on forever. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of the music world. Stay curious, my friends.